It's a perfect day for some South American Counter-Strike here at ESL Challenger League Season 49. My name is Laz, joined here with Paladin to bring you the matchup of the undefeated Sharks with an 8-0 record, taking on more of a tipsy-turny team of ODDIK with a record of 3-3. And tonight, we're going to be finding out if Sharks can maintain that undefeated streak, or if ODDIK can provide some maybe uncomfortable waters to upset the Sharks.
It's hard to believe that Sharks are 8-0, but that is the record for them, and they have an opportunity to extend that. I mean, we talk about playoffs and we talk about the potency of being in that upper bracket and having a chance to get as close to ESL Pro League as possible. And for an opportunity like that for Sharks is huge. I mean, they obviously attended the previous season, and to have an opportunity to maybe attend the following season would be even better for them. So, yeah, really excited to see what they've got in store for us today, and a new look ODDIK as well.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a whole lot that we can talk about, Paladin. I mean, I think you and I have really covered a lot of the Shark games, and I mean, look, like it's hard for me not to. I don't feel like I have a lot of positives that I can really say about a team that is sitting at that 8-0 record, right? I mean, it is kind of deceiving because you and I have been able to capture them in many different qualifiers and different formats where it hasn't really been that great for them, right? I mean, we kind of get these glimpses of good moments, then we see a lot of fumbling, right? But I mean, for a team like ODDIK, they kind of are in a weird position too, because they've been kind of doing some roster adjustments, which I got to get your take on, because it just seems so awkward and weird happening so far in the season.
Yeah, you got Togs, who was on this team for 235 days, most recently benched. You had Caselocks, another fantastic player on their record books, been on this team for 159 days. Both gone, benched on this team. They bought in Cerutera, and they most recently, quite literally today or yesterday, signed Punk, who has been playing on Bestia, and to be honest with you, has not provided enough for me to feel like this is a worthy upgrade. I don't think it's an upgrade. I think it's a downgrade. I'd like to be proven wrong, but we'll see how it works out. But so far, I think he's going to be that guy that I'm trying to watch as closely as possible as far as his best of one go.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, the other thing that I always like to bring up, and I feel like we always get to talk about this, and, we talk about the impact of like oppers and things like that. But, there's been so much about Sharks where, we talked about Gafola's kind of calling the shots now, where the calling has been okay. But then there's obviously some big moments where they kind of just overthink every situation possible. But then that kind of gave up the op responsibilities for someone like Nyx, right? And I mean, for me, I haven't really been impressed because I haven't been able to see what Nyx can bring to the table. I really don't think we've gotten those moments where we go, okay, look, Nyx is clearly the guy. He's the one that can do the job here. But now you're going against someone like Woody where, I mean, look, lots of experience. He's been in the scene for a very long time. I feel like in that kind of a head-to-head, it's kind of a no-brainer. I feel like that favoritism is going to be on the ODDIK side.
I mean, that's what you like to think, but I've seen Woody have some questionable maps as well, and judging from our flyover here in the background right now, I have a sneaking suspicion that we might be going to train production. If we could have
Hell
the veto
yeah.
as well, I mean, it'd be cool to see where this actually does end up, because if it is train, and we do have Woody and Nyx, two oppers that are kind of up and down in terms of the consistency level, that really has me, okay, yeah, we are going on train. That really does make me think that this is going to be a very interesting one, because it's not going to be decided by the better opper. It's going to be decided by how can the aggressive T plays out of con work on a regular basis. And I think it also comes down to the calling. How can Woody and Gafolo call against one another? And in that sense, I will say I will take Woody every day of the week. I think he's done a lot of great work with these pieces, and I think he should do just fine with the lineup that he has today.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what an exciting matchup, though, right? Because I think you and I have always wanted to catch a lot of train games, and I mean, it's such a new map that we're still figuring out so many cool little gimmicks and different things, very different styles from all sorts of different teams. So I actually like this one because I know you and I got to capture the Sharks Imperial game, for the Dallas qualifier, where I think Imperial just kept trying to go for the train pick, and it kept, just putting a dagger in their back, and they just never could get the win. So I mean, I'm curious because on paper, you kind of look at these records. They've, all played 3 official maps. Sharks is sitting at a 2-1 record where they had that loss against, I think that was solid, for CCT. But nonetheless, I mean, I think these guys are probably going to have a decently good matchup. But I think, again, like, can we see the influence, the op? Can we see some good creativity in the strat book? Because a map like this, there's so much, variety of what we're still waiting to find out.
Yeah, and I don't think there's a set meta either. I think there's some set plays that are definitely there, like that Brown Hall's crunch, things like trying to go aggressive in Ivy, trying to take aggressive con control, T-con control, and if those strats are all they've got, then it's going to be interesting to see how they play around with that on the defense. On the offense, though, I mean, it's a complete wild west at this point. I don't think there's really a prevailing style right now that works. I've seen kind of callers like Fear on Fnatic call a very aggressive, contact heavy T side where they're not using much utility. And I've also seen a methodical T side from teams like Ent, who have done a lot of really good work in finding set pieces to try and get into this A bomb site or the B bomb site where they want to cut distance. So there's a lot of options, but it's up to these IGLs to see what homework have they done, and with that homework, can they actually implement it? Because I've also seen teams have a lot of preparation, but have no idea as to how to actually implement it in the server.
No, exactly. And I mean, the thing that's interesting too is like these guys just played each other like not even that long ago. So I mean, the fact they had a recent encounter on a best of three where they have played each other, and that's where actually the better of it went for Sharks, where like it went into like an overtime game, got pushed, pretty much the other distance as well for the secondary map. It just makes you wonder, like that rematch situation, is it going to be a little bit different? Or maybe do we see a little bit of turn of the tides, right? And that's where we were kind of talking about in the very beginning, is as you can see here on the left-hand side, is that Sharks currently sitting at an 8-0 record, and ODDIK is sitting all the way on 13th with a 3-3, which it just seems so not really normal, because I feel like that 8-0 has definitely got a bit of an asterisk on there, because I'm still not convinced that they are sitting in this kind of a position. But nonetheless, I think this is going to be a really fun map for us to see what they can bring to this. I think, depending on the player, some of the players on these teams too, like you and I have talked a lot about the rifling abilities of Doc and RDN. Those guys are, players that can really, show up. And if they show up, it's great. But if they're kind of off their game, you really can see where Sharks, really have the Achilles heel.
Yeah, I think when they're on, they've got a pretty potent rifle core, to be honest with you. I mean, you've got this yin and yang with RDN and Koala. And I mean, obviously, RDN and Doc are interchangeable in this situation. But I think Koala can only do so much as an anchor. I think he's a great CT-sided player. I think he's got some solid impact on the T side when called upon. But he can only do so much. And you need a little bit more in terms of the aggression on the other end to complement that. And that's where you do look at Doc and RDN and you say, these guys have got to get it figured out. And they've got to do it consistently, or else these mid rounds are going to fall apart and things are going to look as ugly as it did the last time we casted them. And I hope we don't get that kind of gameplay again, because as much as it is frustrating, it's also just not good CS. It's not creating good habits. It's not instilling proper preparation for playoffs. And that to me is what's most important, is can these guys get into game time figure by the time we get to playoffs, because we're getting closer and closer to that tail end. And when that comes in, yes, you'll get that upper bracket start, but those two lives, they can go past you very, very quickly.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, like we're, just kind of, echoing a little bit of what you talked about before too, is a team like ODDIK, I mean, they're kind of having some roster shuffles. They're kind of having these changes so far in the season where, I mean, they are sitting at that 3-3 record. Things aren't really looking the same that we've normally seen like this organization in standings before. So it kind of, again, adds like an extra layer of complexity, because now we're kind of wondering, like, what's this roster really going to bring to the table? Like, is it going to be a honeymoon phase, or is it just going to be a complete disaster? I mean, it really is a coin toss when you think about it, because we don't know what to expect. I mean, we do know that Togs is somebody that can be really ruthless on the rifle, but at the same time, and again, like just getting used to a new system, a new map, it just makes a huge question mark on this one. But again, which I think brings so much more excitement for this. And again, folks, just in case you did forget, or you just maybe forgotten a little bit, it is 2 best of 1. So we have this matchup, and then we'll have that following matchup, which will be a few minutes after this as well. But I couldn't be more excited for this one, Paladin. I think for me, it's just I have a lot of expectations for Sharks. I want to see what they can really bring to this, and my expectations are high.
Yeah, well, we'll keep those expectations high, lads, but we're going to cut to a short break, figure out these tech pauses that we're having right now, and we'll be back into the action very, very shortly. Oh, okay. I guess we're live still, but we will be getting a game shortly. We picked out the Cadillo Gaming player to watch, and the player to watch that we picked out is Punk, and of course, there are so many different players that we can pick across these two teams, and the reason I've chosen Punk is specifically just because he is very new, and we're straight into the pistol, folks. 3v3 instantaneously, and ODDIK are trying to encroach upon this A-bomb site.
Well, yeah, I mean, the fact that we're already sitting in the 3-3 so early on, I mean, you can see the positioning here, and Koala's just kind of waiting in the back of Z, just hoping to find maybe some good bit of a cross. Bomb's going to go down already, so again, there is one kid available, but now Gafolo has to be able to stay alive. He's getting overwhelmed by the numbers right now. Koala just gets annihilated with a Glock already, and now just leaving it down to the IGL. Not a hope in hell it's going to happen at all. A triple kill is going to come through. ODDIK find themselves a pretty magnificent pistol.
Marios with all 5. We didn't get to see the first few kills in that sequence, but those last 3 were magnificent. I mean, dink after dink and conversion of the kills is what you like to see. And already the Sharks are out on the back foot. And obviously I can't talk into the conditioning just yet because we didn't see that opening. But keep in mind these sandwich smokes that we keep tossing in every round from the T side is very crucial to allowing plays like this from Woody to happen. He can scale to heaven if he wants, or he can play in the back of the red train. And either option is very valuable. Look at Naite using this long range as Woody cuts it from the other end.
Yeah, such an interesting stack too, right? I mean, the Sharks actually just trying to group up just beside Brown Train like that, and just grouping up with the pistols, just trying to be a little bit. Oh, it is nice, not bad at all. But trying to be a little bit creative. I mean, best thing to do. But I mean, that nade to start it off, man, like that, there was already so much utility damage from ODDIK, so really good work from them. They didn't get over antsy on anything, and they handled it with pretty much good ease.
Yeah, and straight away, Nix wants to go for the glass cannon, and I'm glad that he understands the importance of this gun on this map, but what does he do with it? He is frail, considering the lack of armor, and that could come back to bite him if he wants to play something a little bit more aggressive. He's got to hold on to these long lines and utilize them very effectively. We've got him peering down into the T-Con, and the initial aggression from the Sharks is very dangerous, I'd say, but they still go 1 for 1. It's not the worst thing in the world. Marios does spot out another, and trying to get out and trying to defuse the situation, he'll fall.
Yeah, really good bit of a crunch. Gafolo and his teammate just actually putting it a little bit more problematic now. So that's going to be a good situation for them, but already the HP's low, right? 31 for RDN, 16 for Gafolo. RDN's going to be able to find that kill. It doesn't even matter. Nix tries to go for the shot, not going to be able to land it. So now it's just down to 2. The lonely 2 here for ODDIK. A MAC-10 with a Galil. Got that bomb in their control, but again, that utility, it's lackluster. They don't even have a smoke. They have just double flash with an HE. So for them, they're going to be relying on just getting a pop flash into the site.
Yeah, the captain and Punk have a lot of real estate to work with, and there are players on the Shark side that are low. But and on this map specifically, you have a lot of angles to clear if you're the T side that it's going to be hard to clear out some of these low HP players. The walkback is in, and RDN still has an angle to help out his teammate. Still nothing to actually be given to the T side just yet, and there we go. Body spotted, and shot taken. RDN will hit Woody to the ground. It's all into the new boy, Punk, with 10 seconds left on the clock, and he hasn't cleared out Gafolo at all. So, good work from the Sharks. They do a good job in terms of the initial aggression to try and shut down that upper B play. And they even find a response to the fact that ODDIK take A control as well. So already starting to see a little bit of call and response from Sharks, and they're doing it well.
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed too. Like, I mean, the fact that there was a smoke picked up from Woody too, and the fact that like he didn't have like the right lineup to get Z, like, because that's what his mission was, right? He was upper with his teammate, goes for a really awkward throw, like just exposing his whole body. So, I mean, just giving up a body like that just seems so unnecessary, especially with the numbers being down. But I mean, that's the difference, right? This is where maps, big changes and nobody knows the right lineups. But good trades coming back and forth here. Not saying he's gonna be able to find it. Right back onto Gafolo. But Doc just waiting on the other side of the smoke. They're putting a lot of presence onto this T-Con and ladder. And that bomb is not making any sort of direction right now at all, Paladin. They're just kind of waiting up. They want to see what they can find for opening picks. And it's not looking like it could be unless we can see something big from the new blood, but not even then.
It's a weird peak, and it doesn't net them any bloodshed on the either end, but it's going to be this late crunch into Pop Dog, and they get their man. Terra hits the deck, and that's a huge kill to find. I mean, 2 smokes for ODDIK to try and get their way out of the T connector, but they've got to find some frags now. They've really got to push some of these players off, and they'll find one. Doc hits the ground, and so does RDN, but Nyx has found the rotation, but all of his teammates are falling around him. He's got to clutch up in the big time right now, and he brings it to a 1v1. Matios doesn't want anything to do with it, so he diffuses the situation, rotates back over to the B bomb site, and now he has a chance to reset, to really put the hurt on this Opper. And Nyx switches over to the AK, so he'll have a little bit more mobility to him, but he's taking the long route. He's got the kit, so he's got that time to spare, but when does the penny drop in Matios' head? When does that Spidey signal tingle in the back of his head? He's gotten into Z now, so surely he's got an inkling. And with the bomb planted that far ahead, Nyx will have to show his face. So he's going to drop a smoke, maybe try to goad out this T-sided player, and Matios doesn't bite just yet, but here comes the spam, but Matios has the transfer. And that's some beautiful work there. It's a tough shot to complete on a Nyx, but he does it in spades, and ought to continue their winning ways, bouncing back with their third.
Yeah, not a bad attempt at all from Sharks. I mean, I like that Nyx, tried to go a different way. Like, he had a lot of time, but again, like you kind of mentioned, it's a very difficult site to retake on. You have to clear so many different angles. Really good post-plant position from Matthews, so you gotta love to see it. So, I mean, right down to the wire, the 1v1, but a 3-1 we go. Sharks just going to try to put everything on this one. They're going to try to just reinvest as much as possible. Even Doc's just going to go for the 5-7. He's just going to go 5-7 utility, just making sure they can get that control of T-Con as much as possible. Woody, though, oh my god, he's going to get this. They're right beside each other. They have no idea. No, man, they're blind. And now, okay, AK spamming away. Nick's not able to find this trade. So in such a weird and chaotic situation, ODDIK's able to find themselves in the slightest of a man advantage here with 3 HP as a bragging point, but now it's just a question of them going for the execute. They're going to do the 2-2 split onto this, looking to see if they can get, this T-Con control and outside of Pop as well. But Nyx is going to try to find himself an opportunity. Oh, this is getting awkward. This is getting weird. Oh, man, do they even have the slightest idea that he could be here? This is so much real estate. This is such a strong position. That Molotov is going to give it away. He can just swing, and he will win that fight. And once again, this thing is just getting even more crazy. What the hell is happening right now?
All this vying for T-Con has created so many dead bodies around that angle. I mean, you can look at the top left of your screens, and to make matters worse for ODDIK, the bomb is on the ground. Yes, they've got the man advantage, but at what cost? Nite's low HP as well, so he can't necessarily move. Koala's going to swing into this angle, and Nite's got to have his wits about him, and he absolutely does. Great work to at least get one and put RDN into the clutch. 1v3 in total now needed for the vet. Flash good. And we'll get RDN off the angle, but now he's got a duel, and Matios is there again with impact. 10-1 to start off this game, and they vanquished this aggressive purchase from the Sharks, and now they should have a little bit more breathing room.
Yeah, and I feel like it's just kind of these mid-round situations too, right? I mean, it feels like Sharks have a really decent start in the sort of the rounds, and then it kind of feels like everything fizzles, right? And that's where ODDIK's playing really, really well. They're able to just get themselves in better control. They just use some of the time, and they just try to gain some space. But I mean, this is good work from them. This is where we said we weren't really sure what to take away from this matchup, just given the history of what these teams have played against. That edge is probably on paper for Sharks, but right now, ODDIK have done such a great job of just getting themselves in full steam ahead here. Deal going to be able to find a nice connection, but Matthews is going to be able to find this read. He will. Will he expect RDN to be close on by? Now he's going to try to just go for this fight. He'll be able to win this one too. Okay, so RDN finds himself a double kill. No kit, no armor available for these CT players. So this is where, again, they either have to make the decision, do we want to just go for it, try it? But honestly, at this point, it feels like it'd be the best option to save this AK just despite their money situation.
Yeah, it's definitely a save kind of situation. I mean, honestly, good work from ODDIK. I can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to get out of T-Con as fast as possible. They're trying to have a player Olaf or a player behind that red train straight away. and is working for the most part. I mean, Naite is having a lot of impact, but overall, it's going to be a real problem point for the Sharks. They've got to find a way to deal with it. They're going to have to toss a bunch of utility and really push these T-sided players off the angle and force some respect out of them. Be it taking nades to the face or bullets, either one. But right now, having 2 players jump out of T-Con early is unacceptable. You cannot let that happen, or else this game is going to spiral out of control.
Yeah, and I feel like, from the history books here, Paladin, I mean, we've seen Sharks in many situations where things look like they're getting out of control, and they really do kind of push themselves back in these games, right? So I feel like we've been here in this scoreline before, but we'll see. Very different opponent, very different situation, but I mean, a 5-1 lead right now for ODDIK is perfect, right? And one more, they're going to be guaranteed the half with the 6 minimum, but everything right now is just landing these first opening duels. A couple of cheeky little spamma lineups as well. These guys have been doing some homework. They've been watching some videos. Not bad at all.
Oh, aggression again from Naite. And nearly had Doc's number as well, but Gafolo with his dead teammates AWP gets the job done. And with that, ought to consider just slowing the pace of the round down. And why not? You have no idea if there's potentially a second op in place. And instead, you can just take map control. They've got all of Brown Halls now. Plenty of utility for a BXE if they want to go to that. And I think they're considering it. So let's see what Woody's got cooked up in the kitchen. How can he push off Koala, a very capable anchor, off this B-bomb site?
Yeah, Mully lands nicely on the Koala. He's in an uncomfortable situation. He's getting roasted, and he was just trying to look for that desperate swing to get that duel. Now Gafolo, he's going to be locked and loaded with the op. He makes the first connection, looking for more. Yes, indeed. He finds that double. But a good trade back here from RDN, leaving it just down to the last lonely player. It's all down to him in the 1-on-2 with 20 seconds remaining. Going to be able to get this bomb down. And now Punk's going to be able to see what he can be able to find. I mean, Doc, again, he's wounded. He's down to 32. No utility. Punk hasn't been able to find a duel in his favor at all. It's just been assists. Maybe now a moment for him to shine bright. The newest addition onto this team. Both the CTs now creeping into the site with 1 kit available. No smokes, nothing to block off the vision. It's all about the timing here. And Punk just needs to be able to find this kill. It's an easy one. It's a little bit messy, but now he's trying to see what he can do. And now he's just using a little bit of tic-tac-toe, but unfortunately, he gets caught with a full face of lead, and Doc will be able to find a second round stolen away.
I mean, you know he's not on the bomb at that point. Why are you ducking your head up and down? Like, just leave. Go back to the safety of the upper halls and force him to defuse the bomb. That was nearly perfectly played there from Punk, but he gets just nervous in that 1v1. Understandable, right? Because he does miss that little bit of a spray once he does complete the first kill. And unfortunately, it doesn't work out. So, weird buy, double eco territory for ODDIK. They've done well to get out of T-Con here early, but this time around, they're okay with just tossing some nades and playing a little slower.
Oh, big swing. Great flash coming in from Woody, just allowing Punk to be able to get for that massive bit of a Ferrari. But now giving them the man advantage once again. Got the singular AK though, so they still have a full threat of all these rifles. And now it's actually a little bit trades back and forth. Nyx finally puts that op a little bit to work. Just in the blink of an eye, we're down to the 2v2 with the bomb being dropped on the red train. So not an advantage situation at all here from ODDIK. A lot of thinking they have to do here. And instead, they're actually going to split apart here, Paladin. Very interesting. They're going to just try to see what they can do. But I like this play. Matthews is in a strong position. He might be able to find a backstab. He might be able to get this timing potentially. This could really catch them off guard.
Nyx is watching it, though. Trained in on the Z connector. And because of that, it looks like Marius wants to go all the way around. But Koala's aggressive here. He's been spotted out by Seroterra, which means you'll have to move around a little bit more. 35 seconds left on the clock. Marius can still have impact with his deagle, and what a ripper of a headshot. That's a brutal one for the Sharks camp. And it thrusts the Opper back into another clutch. 1v2 necessary. 25 seconds left on the clock. And now, that bomb is recoverable. Oh, a sitter of a shot missed from Nyx. Puts this one into jeopardy. It really puts this one into jeopardy, but Nyx is still fighting. 1 bullet left in the chamber. He's got to hit it where it counts. A little bit of a timing, but Sarah comes out the better, bobbing and weaving around the bomb train. And ODDIK bounced right back again with the force buy.
This is exactly what I'm talking about, where like in these mid-round situations, in these clutch situations, you just see Sharks, like they almost look like they're panicking and they don't know what to do. Like you already had good positioning where you had Nyx just watching the Z flank. You know, you had the other teammate that was in deep, you know, T-con. They had the information, like they had the full idea, but that opening DIK shot, man, oh man, that just it really put a ruffle in the feathers. And now we're going to see the first time going to be used out here from the Sharks, and rightfully so. I mean, that was a round probably they should have never lost. I mean, again, let's not forget that was Tech Nines with 1 AK saved, so, or 1 AK on the board. So again, ODDIK just finding themselves in these unique situations to get round wins.
Yeah, it is crafty from ODDIK to say the least. I think they're doing a very good job in that sense. And that's kind of why I like watching Woody play the game. He's got a good understanding of how to call, and you know he doesn't necessarily provide the most impact as an opper necessarily, and that's what held him back from being on the best of Brazilian teams. I think about his time on Fluxo, joining hands with Zeus and leading that organization to their first major, and then being discarded because he was considered not an S tier opper. But at this point, you've still not seen Fluxo return to that glory, and I really have to give him credit for that because he was the one that gave them any bit of structure. And you can see that right now. They've got a clear game plan of trying to get out of T-Connector as early as possible, doing a lot with that control. And then if things don't go according to plan, there are options. There are methods and mid-rounds to get out of the B site, to reclaim the bomb on the A site from different avenues, from Pop Dog, from T-Con, from Old Bomb as well. So there's so many different options here that ODDIK are really understanding and feeling the map very well. And this is with a player that has just been introduced to this team yesterday. And that's what makes it really exciting. It's really forcing Sharks to come up with answers on the fly that I don't necessarily think they have right now. They don't have the tape. They don't have the experience. And that's where a player like Woody can really be that extra edge in terms of that sword for ODDIK.
Yeah, and that's what we were kind of mentioning again, like with Woody is saying, like, you know, given his experience, like there's a lot that he can bring. Obviously, we've we both have seen some goods and bads with his opping abilities, and that was the other thing, but I think we're definitely getting some, really good calling, and I think that's a really good point you bring up, and a really critical one is the fact of having, getting that T-Con control, getting the player out as fast as possible with some good utility to just flush out that position. That's really been a playmaker for them, so that's given them a lot of chance. Some good nades, though, so Nate's going to get himself out of here, but again, the cost of his HP down to 44 so early on, and now Deagle's 5-7s. Nate's still going to be able to find the better of Nyx. But an RDN Deagle once again finds himself a nice little bit of an opener. Now they have that pop dog control. This is getting to be a little bit in not the greatest position in terms of the Sharks because they have some real estate, sure, but again, that outside corridor, it's completely up for grabs right now for ODDIK.
They've been read like a book. I mean, they knew that the Brown Hall's aggression was coming, and as I mentioned in that little bit of a timeout, Naite has gotten out of T-Con nearly every round, and this time he'll do the exact same. It allows for a free A-bomb plant, and now puts the pressure back on the CT side, and I don't think they can necessarily go for it unless they've been gifted a kill, and with Doc hitting the ground, I don't think that's the case. RDN does chime in back with another, so he'll wrap in through Old Bomb, and he clears out Serotera as well. That's a massive shot there from RDN. Woody now in a pressure situation. Naite as well, pushed in the back of the bomb site. And now it's all on Naite as Woody's been smoked off as the bomb continues to tick down. There shouldn't be time on the clock, but at least they can take bodies with them, you'd like to think. And yeah, Naite will fall, but the ground is still in ODDIK's favor.
Yeah, I mean, really good effort from Sharks despite them, like you said, getting read like a book. So, I mean, they did a lot of damage considering what they invested into this. So, not bad at all, but the op does get saved here from ODDIK. It's a good note for them. Still plenty of cash so they can get themselves right back into a gun round, but round number 10 is going to be really, really important because now we're sitting at that 7-2. So ODDIK have now guaranteed themselves, the half victors, but it's really going to be about a marginal. How much can they do? RDN going for the good T-Con instant smoke, which is going to be really nice. That might block things off just a little bit with the deep Molotov as well. So that's a little bit of a change up from the Sharks. But now you can see ODDIK. They're just like, you know what? Let's just go through our mollies. Who cares? We're just going to barrel on in. Who the hell cares about this utility? Now Koala finally stepping up to the plate when he needs to with that double kill. But then he gets a little bit bested. But at least these trades are coming back and forth here for Sharks, putting them in the 4-on-2, making this more of a challenging situation here for ODDIK. They have to still pick up the bomb. It's still dropped. They haven't been able to find it. Everybody's just hitting the floor, leaving it down to Woody. And Sharks, they react perfectly for round number 10.
I actually thought the call there from ODDIK was brilliant, right? You've been conditioning the T-Con control for so long. 3-4 players trying to deal with that T-Con presence, tossing so much utility that it was all a ruse. It put all the pressure on Koala, and you've got to give credit to him doing so well to get a double kill there and stall out the attack just long enough for the rotations to come in. You have a fast pop dog flank as well, and that was absolutely massive. So credit to Koala, again, an unsung hero on this roster, but provides so much impact to this team, and it puts ODDIK on another low purchase. It's not what you'd like to have in this kind of a situation, but they're going to have to do considering they're on single loss.
Yeah, lots of options. And that's the thing too. We haven't really seen ODDIK go for like these B pops. We haven't really seen them go for that many times in the 11 rounds that we've had so far in this game, but we'll see what they want to go for this. A lot slower of a pace. They don't go for that T-Con control. They just kind of wait things out. Molly's not going to make the connection, not going to give a noise cue, but look at that T-Con control from the CT side. Gafolo's already posted up. Deep smoke. Blocking off Natsé now. He's just trying to see if he can get himself a lucky shot. Nyx posted up on Pop Dog. A lot of pressure for him. Some of that utility available if they decide to go for a little bit of a pop swing on this. 46 seconds though. The clock is running down. Nobody's seen each other. No damage getting inflicted except for one against what? Ponk, which really isn't anything. Sharks just waiting patiently. This is a change-up. This is a huge change-up in the change of the pace here from ODDIK. Now the nades are going to get thrown. Mathos trying to throw a little bit of a fake, trying to just do a little bit of, you know, tease on this maybe. And now Nyx missing his first shot, looking to see can he find a connection. Does a little bit of damage through E-Box. But now Gafolo and his teammates going to be loading up these rifles, all just down to one player remaining with a Tech 9 in hand, hoping for some kind of a kill, but it's going to be a flawless round here for Sharks.
Yeah, I do, again, like the calling there from ODDIK to try and sell a little bit of rotation. Sharks are biting on so much right now because of how well Woody has been moving around the rotations generally in this half. But unfortunately, and this has been a problem for this team for so long, it's not the calling, it's the shooting. And this time around, of course, they didn't have the guns to do it, but either way, great work from the Sharks to reorient themselves. Gafolo having to do a lot of the heavy lifting in that situation. He has been in a lot of different rounds that I've seen when we've casted the Sharks. And you know what? If your captain can put his team on his back, then by all means.
A little bit of an interesting double stack. Deep smoke here from Ali. And they go for a swing. Good trade though from Natsé. Oh, he will be able to find that second. Okay. And now he looks for himself for a third. He does so much inflicting of damage. Things are getting a little bit more tagged here. And now RDL gets overwhelmed here with the AK. Look at ODDIK. Look at the position they're in. They can go all the way in the back now. They can just try to go, you know, on the back skirts of CT spawn. They're going to wait things out. How is Nyx missing that shot? And how is he alive? And he gets away with one more. The trade comes back through. And it's all just down to Koala by himself now in a clutch situation here with 50 seconds to spare. Full HP, full utility, and a kit. Gets the dink onto Mathios. Now trying to see if he can get the job done with some utility, and he will, but it will not happen. And ODDIK are going to be able to find themselves sitting at an 8-4 as we get it ready for that second half. All right, we're ready to go for the second half, and that was an 8-4 in the lead here for ODDIK, where we saw some really good strategy being utilized. But now the question is, can they still show us some good defensive positioning here against the Sharks? And I guess we're about to find out here, Paladin.
Yeah, they've got a lot of work to do, Gafolo especially. It's a talking point as to whether or not he can get it done on this side of the map, but they're into the A bomb site straight away. But Terra aggression through the Brown Halls, drops the bomb, finds 2 kills, 1 for each Beretta, and he's looking for a couple more heads being spotted, but finally Koala deals with him. So that C4 is recoverable at this point, whether they know it or not. And they're going to have to find a way to link hands with Gafolo, because Gafolo has got a lot of room here to maneuver around. And it's on a bit of a timer, because eventually he will get cleared, maybe a shoulder will get spotted, and that's when problems arise. But with how apprehensive ODDIK are to recover this bomb, or the Sharks rather, to recover this bomb, it's taking a lot of time off the clock. And again, Gafolo's position is just going to get that much more difficult. Woody is searching for some answers. He finds that the C4 has been dropped, and he spots a body.
Yeah, this is good info, though. And the fact that Woody's actually still kind of re-aggressing onto this, too. Still looking for more. So now he can at least relay the communication. Gavolo now has to be able to find a bit of an opening here. Making some noise, and now he should be able to get caught here. Nate should be able to find this free duel. There it is. So now the sandwich, and Pollock's going to be able to find himself a double, and there we go. ODDIK once again will continue on their winning ways. Sitting at a 9-4, but I didn't mind that from Sharks. I didn't mind the slow pace, and like you said, I think Gafolo is in a unique position just because of where he was. But again, we needed to see something more to allow him to get some space, but unfortunately it just felt like a little too late after Woody spotted him.
I actually like the initial game plan there from Sharks. It's the sandwich smoke, the deep Molotov into the back lanes, and you get Gafolo out instantaneously to suggest that it's an A-rush, but instead you're trying to take Brown Hall's control straight away, maybe throw a little bit of a set piece, or just trying to barrel through down into that bomb site. But obviously the wrinkle in that round that completely unravels it is the aggression from Terra through Brown Halls. And as soon as he drops the bomb, the jig is up. Gafolo's position is basically useless unless somehow he finds a head later on in the round. And he had a great crossfire to make sure that he felt uncomfortable. Punk read the rest of the round like a book, and yeah, very well done there. Very well synthesized from the CT side. And it's hard to do it in pistol rounds, you know? I mean, I feel like the pace of those rounds can be very fast. And when you slow those rounds down, it's hard to kind of, change the style of your aiming in a way, right? Where you're trying to be very flicky with how you approach the early game. And then when it kind of gets drawn out to that default, you have to really pick your poison and really click that mouse one as slow as possible, you know?
Yeah, isn't that the truth? And I mean, it's a good point, because we haven't really seen... I feel like a lot of the rounds have been actually pretty good paced, right? I mean, I feel like the second last round in the first half, I think ODDIK went for like a very slow take, which I feel like we never really got to see. Like, it always felt like aggression out T-Con, or some kind of aggression looking for information right away. So when we get these slower plays, it's still, again, just it's good to see on a map like this, just because we have no idea what could happen. And this version of Train just allows for so many different varieties of, options, I think, on both sides, right? Where the lesser trains, I don't know, you could argue it's good and bad. I think there's a lot of mixed results from the community about this, but nonetheless, I mean, ODDIK, I feel pretty impressed with them so far. I feel like everything they've done has been really up to snuff. I feel like it's been really clean for the most part. A couple little hiccups, obviously, but I mean, the mid-rounding has just been phenomenal.
Yeah, and that's really what makes Train so good for strategic teams, is if you got a good caller, you can run circles around the other team. There are ways to do it. And of course, you talk about some of the best Train teams in the world. You talk about what Fallen has done when he was on SK and LG. You talk about Glaive and how he won his first major on this map by playing out of his mind, both cerebrally and in the game as well, like in the server as well. And the potency of these IGLs in this kind of a map is so important. So that's why I really do gauge the strength of these teams by their callers when I look at this map. I've seen the body of work that Woody has, and I compare it to very short body of work that Gofolo has, and that's not necessarily his against him, right? He's a great player. He's done a lot of great work in the Brazilian scene, but hasn't had the opportunity to be a caller at this level. And because of that, you're really up on a creek without a paddle, right? And you really have to kind of put that onus on your teammates to kind of dig you out of it, and they haven't necessarily lived up to that just yet.
Well, thankfully, we get a short technical pause. I was getting a little worried that might have gone a little bit longer, but thankfully, we're right back into the action. And now we're going to see a full commitment from Sharks. It's going to group up a little brute force, see what they can be able to find. I mean, even Koala with a Zeus thing. All right, that's optimistic, man. All right, that's a bold play. That's really counting.
You're telling me they're going to aggress all the way through Brown Halls and then go right to those stairs? Yeah.
I don't know what demos or what he's been watching, but yeah, the chances of that are what, like less than 1%, I would say. But hey, look, I love to be proven wrong. Always love a good Zeus skill.
I think Serutera has just like made them terrified at this point after that pistol. Terrified that it's a possibility that he could be in Brown Halls at that position again, but not to be. Instead, they will inchworm their way over to this B bomb site. Gofolo will be the tip of the spear here. At least they were considering it. They don't have anything. They don't have any utility. They don't have any method in kind of breaking back into this into these bomb sites. No flash, no smoke. They're just gonna have to be raw aim duels, and of course, as you can see, with only around $200 invested, there's not really much to write home about here. They're gonna rot the clock down as much as possible, see if they can burn some utility, which they have, but this should be a mop-up here, and it absolutely will be. Naite and Matios do a great job, and Doc can't convert any little bit of whiffage there from Naite. So he'll continue on with the 20-plus affair on train, and ODDIK now knocking on the door of their map victory straight away, breaking this undefeated streak.
Yeah. Really, really happy to see what Nate is able to bring to this because, you know, again, he was somebody that we were kind of looking at a little bit as well, just saying like he can definitely put up some good numbers, but, you know, it's a question if he can still maintain that form. It looks like, yeah, indeed he will. So he's sitting himself. He's the only one at over 20 kills. Everybody else, you know, pretty much far behind. I mean, Matthew's sitting at 14 and 8, but everybody else is under 10. So it's been a little bit more heavy lifting for these two. We'll see if they can do a little bit more of the deadlifts here with the last remaining couple rounds, if they can close things off. But this round, again, you know, for round number 15, despite the positioning from Sharks, I mean, they go for a big investment, but at least Koala can be able to find this trade back. Some of that utility still intact now. Still got the smokes, a couple mollies ready to go. The question is, where do they want to go with this, though? Again, like you can see their positioning, 2 in T-Con, 2 towards Pop, so they're just going to go for the crunch outside, which leaves it just to Nate and also for Woody. Oh my god, Koala. Okay, that's a little bit of an opener.
That's lovely. And it does relieve some pressure, but at the end of the day, they are kind of boxed in here. Matios has pushed all the way through the Brown Halls, understands what's ahead of him, and Sharks call a freeze. They've got the man advantage. They're hoping that the CTs get antsy, and they absolutely will. Matios will continue to aggress. There's a head spotted, but Nyx completes the kill. 2v4 now, as Sharks have an avenue to go back to the B-bomb site if they choose. But they're standing their ground, and so will Naite and Punk. But that little bit of a lurk smoke will really cause some concern for the CTs, and this should be an open and shut case, but 20 seconds left on the clock. They've got to start getting a move on, and with how slow they're taking, there's still a world where Naite and Punk can make a round out of this.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're still in great positions just like that. That's already becoming a problem. That variable's just even gotten harder to solve, and he can't be able to find a double, but now time is ticking. It's down to 5, and all they got to do is find this kill, but thankfully they get their blessings of stars and counting things because they do get themselves a 5th round, but my god, why do they have to make it that close?
I mean, RDN had the round of the palm of his hand. If he gets just one more in that double swing there, then it's game on, but unfortunately, both of these players are kind of playing a bit of one-and-done positions, and it comes back to haunt them, but you're already seeing a couple of these issues that when the going gets tough and you're into those late-round situations, I'm backing Woody to make the right call every single time, but when it's Gofolo, I'm a little apprehensive. Obviously, And that one, they were given a little bit of a gift, but we'll see if they can keep doing something with the little bit of momentum that they've been given. ODDIK will purchase right back in. Woody will not have his AWP, but right now, and with how much the aggression has been working out for ODDIK on both halves, I think Woody will be happy with just having these guns up.
No fast outside take coming in from Sharks. Actually, Serutera's going to get himself close and personal right now into Paw. He's got that MP9 still, a strong weapon in this kind of position, but needs the perfect timing for it. Nate just playing a little bit of the shake and bake. Waiting to see what he's going to be able to find. Maybe finding that trade, but if Serutera can be able to find a kill in this position, this is going to be huge. Here's the nade. Not going to even really turn away from this. Oh my god! He finds the double! He's eating them alive!
Oh, that was sick from Serutera. His SMG work has been sublime on this map of Train. And that has just axed the round right in front of Shark's face. I have a sneaking suspicion they knew that that setup was there. Especially considering if they're taking it as slow as they will see the shoulder first. That pop flash, I mean, that setup was brilliant from the Sharks. They should have gotten that kill. At least a trade, but man, what great work from Serutera. Now, 40 seconds of nothingness for the Sharks as they cower back in the upper brown halls. And ODDIK will find themselves their 11th. What a round.
Yeah, and it just, and again, the fact that it comes into a double kill like that, right? I mean, in that kind of an angle too, like that's not an easy shot to hit, right? I mean, that's it's kind of an awkward angle, but the fact he gets away with it.
It's T favored, right? Every single time. There.
Every single time, exactly. And I mean, for Sharks, they have to save. They have no options on that. I mean, they were banking on getting, you know, worst case scenario. Well, maybe not worst, but I guess one of the scenarios was going for the 1-1. But yeah, losing 2 like that with a blink of an eye, not going to be good for them. But I mean, look, they still got some money afloat that they can work with this, so they can definitely work around these double AKs they got. But now Serutera is going to be getting himself that AK back in his hand. I mean, from what we've seen from ODDIK, I mean, they have lots of different options. They could kind of mix things up and get that brown hole control once again. I mean, they could even try to crunch onto T-Con this time. We haven't really seen any of the CTs really going for a fight in alley yet, which has been a little surprising for me, but it feels like it's kind of that one spot of the map that's just kind of abandoned so far.
Yeah, nobody knows how to play that part of the map yet, and I understand why. There's so many different angles to deal with if you're a T player that it's hard to figure out. There's no set way to scale on this part of the map just yet. And we'll need the help of some Tier 1 folk to figure it out before Tier 2 teams decide to adopt it. Or maybe they figure it out themselves. I don't know. But either way, 4v4 to start things out right now in round number 17. Naite, the big hitter. 23 kills, but down for the count here. And RDN trying to feint a little bit in Ivy, but nothing found. It's again, Mattios getting aggressive in brown halls, but can't convert. Doc fast on the trigger. Does open the door to this B bomb site, but it would be into the waiting arms of the captain.
Yeah, now for ODDIK, I mean, again, a bit of a gambling situation for them being down by 2, so they're actually going to go, this is a good stack. They actually have a perfect read on this. Yeah. Oh, Sharks again, just putting all the eggs in this basket. They're going to get ready for the B hit. You got Serutera that's in Z. You also have Woody that's just kind of in the back skirts of upper ramp. So now, I mean, this should give them enough time. They got the molly that they can slow things down. Oh no, did he really just throw it behind the smoke? And indeed he does, but it cost him his life. And now Koala just trying to get that Galil into action, and indeed he will. But Woody now, oh my god, Woody! I thought maybe he was going to be able to find himself a gift, but unfortunately he only gets the one and done, and Sharks will get themselves another round, but good god, just barely.
The whiffing from the player in heaven was just brutal. I mean, Punk gets away with 2 kills there. Really made Woody's job in the clutch a doable one, but doesn't end up panning out for him. Really had a struggle bus, at least as an individual right now. And that's the the blessing and the curse that comes with Woody is that he does give you potency in the calling department, but sometimes can be lacking as a fragger. But we're going to see if they can make it work either way. Terra back up to his antics in Pop Dog, but this time getting a little bit more aggressive. He drops his smoke and plays in front of it, or right behind it rather, considering going through it, but we'll think better of it. The Sharks will completely circumvent him and consider this B play yet again. 5 players up on this end of the map, hoping that a CT will offer up their head, but nothing just yet.
Oh, Zach. Oh, man, it's just raining nades. And, oh, man, the MP9 from Woody almost gets that double. That could have really changed things around, but Terra is close on the heels. Nick's got a bit of an inkling on this. His spidey senses are tingling. And now the nade's getting thrown. The CT's on the other end of the map. They need to do something, and now they're dropping to the grave. And this might just be the save. And that's from Nate. Not able to find that kill. Now they're just realizing they got to concede defeat on this. And I don't even think there's a gun that he can pick up either. No, he's just going to have to preserve the MP9 for this one. But you know what? Despite Sharks going for a very slow take, it was a nice execute.
Yeah, I definitely do think so. There was still a couple of flub nades. They would have liked for that extra flashbang to hit. Would have hit the Bianca square in the face, but that missing did give an opportunity for ODDIK to get back into it, but no harm, no foul. Trades are still solid, and the Sharks still get the round, so they wouldn't be too bothered with that result. But slowly and surely, they are clawing this one back to tees. Weird economy situation for ODDIK. They can purchase again if they want to around these saved guns, but they're doing this weird thing where they're buying vests so they can like play around with those guns, but they also don't have enough for the next. Unless, actually no, never mind. They probably do have max loss at this point, so either way, we'll see what they can get done. Punk and Nate. Nate would have loved to get aggressive in a T-Con, but it'll be Punk who does it instead.
Yeah, really nice change-up. And instead of Punk actually getting that duel, it's Woody! It's the IGL! He puts that 5-7 to work with the double kill. A nice flash thrown into Pop Dog. They're not going to be able to capitalize on it, though. At least they can slow things down. I don't know if Terra is going to be able to find this gun. Maybe he will, actually, because you can see Nyx has actually retreated his plan. Oh, man, is he really going to get rewarded with a free gun like this? And they're just going to put all the eggs into this basket once again, going into the B site. Double player from the CT side, waiting on this on the outskirts of the upper part. Oh, and they're going to re-aggress on this Koala. He's got a bit of an inkling, though. He has some kind of a bit of an itch, realizing maybe they could be this close. And I mean, this kind of an angle, Koala should have him dead to rights, and indeed he will. So now leaving down just to 2. Nate close up by. The smoke's going to get missed. Nate looking for maybe one more. That smoke might be able to save his life for a little longer. It will not. Leaving it down to Terra. Going to run through them all. He's going to be able to find this Nyx kill. So now 34 HP, 25 here for Nyx. Everybody's wounded. One shot should be able to do. No utility at all for the CT side. Full belt here for Nyx. Terra looking to see what he can find. That smoke has really caused a lot of problems. Nyx just needs to burn the time as much as possible, but instead, he's going to get a bit more aggressive and comes up clutch once again.
I mean, this guy's had so much impact in that clutch situation, and he's not necessarily doing it with the AWPs in a lot of situations. It's onto the pistol or it's onto the rifle, but he's getting it done either way. Keeping ODDIK just a couple of feet behind them. And now, granted, ODDIK will still have a purchase, but Sharks are stringing things together. They're finding ways to get the job done in the mid-round, even when the early round isn't going in their favor. And that, you've got to give them some credit. But has that credit come to a close? Maybe. Terra again with a double and Pop Dog brings it down to a 2v4 with a minute 35. Sharks now have to stew in their own demise.
Ooh, cheeky little double stack. I feel like Terra is just trying to gain himself like a graffiti or something. That spot's just going to be known as him, right? Like every single time. Give the guy an MP9 and they'll get it done. The stack actually does work out nicely here for RDN, so still the advantage right now for ODDIK. But again, Terra is low, down to the 18. But some good aggression. I'm pretty sure Sarutera has already pushed pretty far up onto Hall as well. But now Sharks actually going to go down Ivy, something that we were just talking about that we don't see a lot of teams really utilizing that much. Bonk, though, does have the spot here. Just needs to stay alive. His life, if he gets taken out, this could be costly. Oh, he just overextends the peak. Oh, now things are awry. Now things are changing. And now this is becoming more of a problem here because, again, you still have the wounded player of Sarutera, but no kit on either of these players. So it's all about the gunfights. They have to be able to win this with 30 seconds remaining. And Sharks, look at how slow they're still taking this. They're just making sure every single angle is cleared possible.
They have to go A. They have to go A in this situation as the time rots. But Matios is still staying right behind the bomb site. And Sarutera has found the long-range kill. There is no way Matios isn't red. And Sarutera will just get the job done himself. So a quad kill for him. And he has been an absolute menace towards this Shark squad when he has that SMG in his hands. Pop Dog is locked down. And that repositioning into T-Con is even better. It took them a little bit of time here, Laz, but ODDIK have finally gotten over the hump.
Yeah, seems like they're looking a lot better and reformed now, right? I mean, that's where we were saying Nate was having himself a really good game, sitting at 24-14, but Sarutera has really just put a lot of impact in this game. You know, like you said, just getting in Pop Dog control, finding these double kills, or just at least that one duel. It really does kind of, you know, change the winds a little bit in this one. And now you can see Sharks realizing everything's kind of hitting a bit more of a halt here as we're going for the second time out for these guys. And I mean, this is 4 opportunities right now for ODDIK to get this thing closed out. But I mean, what do Sharks do? I mean, we've seen them try to go for the, you know, the big inner exec on the B site. We've seen them not really play aggressive on the outside corridor as much. It feels like they're taking a lot more slower rounds, so they're playing that kind of like methodical CS. Do we see a change in pace now?
You can definitely call it, but I'm afraid they haven't done enough conditioning to make it a possibility. They haven't gotten out of T-Con early. They haven't really done an instant B set piece as well, considering how aggressive Sarutera's been. So they don't have like the best avenues. I mean, they can try it, but they might get red pretty hard is the issue. So instead, they're going to go to a position that hasn't been touched until last round, really. Ivy once again. Ponka's kind of struggled on this position. Hasn't really been tested beyond that last round. So they're going to jump, peek it, run boost over. And Woody isn't here to necessarily use that AWP, but Ponk will have that early warning signal to know if there's some keys coming in his way. And he'll get some good damage in, but now it should be Woody. It should be Woody's time to shine, and he finds a barrel, and he'll take a kill as well.
Yeah, Woody getting a good opening duel. That's exactly what they needed. Now just the spam from Ponk. Oh my god, Nix! How are you alive with 2 HP to spare? Man, he's just getting blasted through the smoke, and now, I mean, this is a difficult position once again because look at how spread out they are. Now the bomb's even going to just slowly re-aggress back into T-Con. ODDIK are in such a prime position right now with 45 seconds. Another smoke getting thrown into T-Con. Nate's already pushed himself all the way through Brownhall. Oh, this is bad. This is real bad. And now he's got the noise cue. He can hear Nick's just throwing some of that utility. He can just either decide to push this up or he can just wait things out. And indeed, he's going to post up a little bit now. Now just waiting to see. RDN does find himself a little bit of an opener, but is it going to be enough? With 20 seconds remaining, they have to get moving. They need to do something. They need to get the ball rolling down this hill. And now that MP9 again, the demise, the Achilles heel for these guys just seems to be finding all these duels. But RDN, it might be a little too late as there are 8 seconds remaining. They just have to stay alive. They just need to retreat. They don't need to go for the gunfights, and this thing's over. And ARC's going to be able to find this with a 13-8 victory.
Whoa, I mean, they really gave it to him there, RDN, but at the end of the day, ODDIK have played the far better Counter-Strike across the board. The T-sided calling from Woody looked spectacular, understanding where the chinks in the armor were, and then when we switch over to the defense, yes, it took a little bit of time to get that money underway, but once they had a little bit of a buffer, they were starting to chain things together. Woody started to get that op out, and then things slid right into place. And I gotta commend Woody for the work that he did. Of course, he kind of struggled in terms of an individual perspective, but at the end of the day, a win is a win.
Yeah, a win is a win. I mean, really, it was a lot riding on this because we were saying, like, for Sharks, like, in terms of the competition they played, like, on paper, we were like, look, probably could argue that they're probably a slightly better team on this map in terms of ODDIK. But really, I felt like, Sharks, once again, just playing the slow game, didn't really readdress themselves in the proper moments. And ODDIK just, I felt like the calling was, phenomenal. I really do think Woody came prepared. They looked like they knew exactly what they wanted to do. So, I mean, a really good job, well done for them. The player here, the Kidia player to watch, didn't really get to see a whole lot from Punk, but you know what? Despite that, I mean, their team was able to get the victory, which is the most important piece of this.
Yeah, there's still a lot of slotting in that Punk needs to do, but he's got a little bit of time now to catch his breath a little bit as we catch our breath in the casting booth as well. So we'll take a short little break, and when we come back, map 2 in this best of 1 series between ODDIK and Sharks.
Holy, we're ready to go, and we're on the second best of one now here, where Sharks, unfortunately, were not able to find themselves victors on train, ODDIK taking that away, and now it's a second chance for them to maybe get themselves another win in the category for them on Nuke, but it's Laz and Paladin to take you through this action here for South America, and we're about to find out if Sharks got enough in the tank.
Well, this is one of those maps where they have definitely got reps on, at least Gafolo has as a caller, but we saw them play the Bounty Hunters, and it was an absolute doozy. We'll see what ODDIK have done on the other end. I feel like I have a little bit more trust in Woody, but only time will tell. Outside play here for ODDIK on the pistol, and Punk, the new blood, finding a P250 headshot, being given the raid boss, and now they're going to run down RDN, you'd like to think, but he's still fighting within the lockers. Still having a chance to have some impact, but Terra has completely circumvented him. He's moved all the way into heaven, has an opportunity at a kill right on his plate if he wants it, if he wants to scale in, but he's still hungry for that Hell player. Caught between two mines here is Terra, and he does complete it onto RDN. Now they can control this A bomb site,
What?
and Woody with a 90-degree flip, make it 3 in total. What a beautiful little sequence there from the captain.
Oh my god, we were talking a lot about, you know, what he can be able to bring into this map, you know, like feeling a little bit more confident about his calling, but man, his frags just getting a triple kill to open things up. Why the hell not? But look, Sharks again, like in these mid-round situations, just seem to really just look a little like disoriented. They don't know what they're really doing, but ODDIK, I mean, again, all, you know, the adversity's thrown at them, they do well to handle the pressure, and getting that opening pistol is definitely going to do. So I mean, I just can't believe they even got away with that. It was looking decent for the Sharks, but now the Sharks are going to be able to find themselves. They're not going to even go for any like gamble of a stack. They have the double outside. looking for the double players going lower, so they kind of have a little bit of an inkling here. But now Nante has to be careful. The pistols are getting up close and personal, actually making some good damage thus far. These are getting a little bit awkward. And why are these gunfights going the favors? What is happening right now? This is messy. This is sloppy, but Punk at least can get it cleaned up.
It should be okay. Now at this long range, these AKs should get it done, but man, okay, another dink as well for Koala, but yeah, all good. I've got to commend Serutera, man. I mean, having to take over Case-Lock's position and having to change out that old guard and bring in some new blood, and finding the amount of impact that he does as an aggressive rifler is super important for the development of this team. I mean, I already feel like he's worthy of being on this team at this point, and the amount of impact that he had on Train alone makes me very excited for this player's future.
Oh, no doubt at all. Yeah, he's already looking so stellar. He's looking like he's meshing well with the team. You absolutely love to see it. And that's always a big thing we talk about, right? I mean, we say, like, look, like the grassroots getting some of these players an opportunity, and Nate, though, he's going to find himself plenty of opportunity, and he finds that double kill. And look at this, it's a massacre. Within the blink of an eye, within seconds, this round is already over, and ODDIK, they just do a beautiful intertake, and they take no prisoners.
When ODDIK have an opportunity to use Naite like a wrecking ball, he can just demolish bomb sites on the T side. He's done so much good work across the multiple ODDIK iterations, and it seems as though we're kind of turning a corner as to how Woody wants to utilize him effectively. And that round right there showcases the brilliance that he has when he's got a couple of well-placed flashbangs and just a leader that is very heavily believing in his ability as a player. And that was just beautiful, a beautiful little sequence there from Naite. And of course, it does feel like a lot of times there has been doubts on this guy, especially in sort of like mid to late round situations. It feels like he doesn't have the wherewithal to figure himself out. But when you just put him in these kind of situations where you say, go and kill, he will do it for you if the setup is there.
Yeah, and that's the kind of the players you need too. So it's a good point you bring up, like someone like Nate that can just kind of go in, doesn't care at all. He's just gonna, do what he needs to do, and he gets told, and he says, "Yes, sir, no problem." So 3-0, looking good so far from ODDIK. Looking to see if they can find themselves, like I said, that double win here today, maybe. And now Nate once again finds himself an opening duel. He's gonna be blind. He can't see anything, and he still gets the perfect angle for it. And now they can even just backpedal on this, and they do. Look at that. You can see Sharks were ready for this with some decent utility and positioning, but now they're just going to cool things off.
Cheeky work there from Naite. And now they can completely reset. If they want to pack outside, they can. They don't have the smokes, though. That's the worrying aspect of it. It does leave them open to gunfights against these long-ranged Eagles, but no player in heaven, no player in ramp, so they can cross safely if they choose, whether they know it or not. Eventually they will come up to a roadblock with this player downstairs and Nyx. And Nyx got a little bit of a timing here, but just off the mark. Punk will find his man, and that lower bomb site should be up for grabs at this point.
Yeah, I was thinking if they can be able to keep this flawless, that would have been really, really nice. But RDN again, man, you just can never count him out with a dig. Koala on a bit of a nice little bit of an off angle with a 5-7. What? Oh my god!
No.
He gets the double dink, and then actually Guafola is going to be able to help him out. So this thing is just turned on its head a little bit now. The bomb's going to be dropped in the worst position. That smoke is even going to make it more of a problem. AK is going to be picked up here now, fully equipped here on the CT side. The time is ticking. They might just have to abandon this plan. They might not have any ground to work with, and just coming up with a hero play once again from Koala, someone we talked a little bit about. And man, oh man, does he shine bright in a round that was looking so dark.
He is such a good anchor, man. I mean, sincerely underrated in this Brazilian scene. I have seen this guy dig Sharks out of so many sticky situations. And this one's one of the better ones I've seen. Dinks on the 5-7. And again, not over-committing to these gunfights, giving himself up as far as his whole body is concerned. Stalls just for long enough for Guafola to come in through the control glass and It just looks sublime there. Well done on the eco. Dislodging this little bit of momentum that Naite was able to spring forth for the T side. And with that, Nyx does get himself his AWP straight away. Start to exert some pressure. But Naite is going to continue this unrelenting approach to this upper bomb site. Charging through. Punk will find the entry first. But Naite has already gotten to the back of Silo, and Punk is trading himself up a storm. Wonderful work there from the newest player. And with that, the Sharks will have to back away.
I honestly just love teams that kind of, you know, put the foot on the gas and they just really start to go really, really hard on like a site like that. Like, I love these intertakes. They've been quite clean. Like, honestly, they feel like they're in full cruise control. They know exactly what angles they have to look at. It doesn't even look like there's a lot of hesitation, because you can see some teams when they have like new additions to the roster where like some players might not remember like the system or what you're supposed to do or who's supposed to look at what angle to cover each other. But I mean, ODDIK have just looked so polished thus far. And I mean, the fact that they're doing this just back to back to back and putting, you know, Sharks again in a save scenario is just, I wonder if they're going to call this timeout maybe in the next couple minutes, just because they might need to. Yop's going to be saved as well as the AK.
Oh.
And I'm thinking we're out. We disconnected. Did we lose the server?
Oh.
No, we did. Uh-oh, that's
we
awkward.
might have. That's no bueno. I think everybody involved should have been able to save there. But an awkward scenario. We will get that sorted out as soon as possible. Please bear with us. But yeah, good work there from ODDIK again. And it's very similar to that of Train, right? The Train T side, where Naite's sole goal was to charge through T connector, set up aggro chaos, and see what they can find on that A bomb site, right? Now on Nuke, it's try to get out of squeak door as fast as possible. Can you get an entry? Can you get onto that A bomb site as fast as possible? And both win conditions have come up the ODDIK way, and it is really putting a spanner in the works for Sharks, because they don't have a response. They don't have those anti-rush grenade protocols, and they don't have the individuals to respond either. And it's really causing some concern for that defense on both maps.
Yeah, it definitely is. And that's the thing, like, it's a good point you bring up, because again, if the CT side can't really seem to find an answer, like what utility to kind of, you know, stop that rush or just put that aggression on a little bit of a halt, like, then you're going to have a lot more problems, right? So, I mean, there's a technical happening right now. So this gives Sharks a little bit more breathing room to figure out, okay, what do we got to do differently in this kind of a scenario? Because again, it feels like ODDIK are just kind of, you know, pointing towards that inner sight. They're like, you know what, we want that and it's going to be ours, and they get it, right? And it hasn't really been that much of a contention. So Sharks do need to kind of figure out a different setup. I think they, like you said, were able to keep that AK and op in their hands. So we'll have to see where they're going to place that op. Maybe put it out yard, just try something a little bit differently, focus a little bit heavier on that inner sight. But look, I mean, so far looking so good from ODDIK, because it feels like a lot of their executions have been quite clean. But Sharks, there's a lot more improvement needed.
Yeah, I think maybe you can try to set Nyx down the secret stairs. Maybe have him pop up and take the marshmallow fight. It's a viable option. I mean, there's so many viable options with an AWP on this map, right? I mean, it's on the Opper specifically to take matters into his own hands and be decisive when you're given the round in the palm of your hand. And unfortunately for a younger player like Nyx, he's not cultivated that swagger yet, and I take that all back. He's got aggressive outside, he's found his man, and he's already put the hurt on the ODDIK side, bringing them into a 4v4 and getting a dink on a Woody as well.
Yeah, not bad at all. I mean, Nate finally getting, you know, a little bit put to the grail on this one's a nice little bit of an impact kill here for Sharks, but let's see what they can do to capitalize. But Koala now holding a tight angle here. Is he going to get flushed out of the molly? It's thrown deep. That shadow advantage going to go in his favor. Monk now trying to see what he can do. A self-pop flash, and he goes wide. He will be able to win that fight. Koala just eats it. So now it's down to the 3-on-2, the advantage for Sharks, something we haven't been able to see for quite some time. RDN still playing aggressive here in the hut. Close with Gafolo, but again, the positioning here from the T's, they got plenty of time to work with. They still got 45 seconds, but they're going to have to make a play here soon. Woody looking like he's going to get ready for the... Is he going to just save this, or is he going to go... Oh, he's going to go the backwards way into the lobby. Okay, he's going to go from the roof down. Not bad at all, just in case someone's going to be able to spot him into hut. But look at them, they're going to actually still investigate on this. This kill needs to happen. That's already 1-2. Oh, that is beautiful. Eats them alive with a double. Now things have turned around completely with 19 seconds remaining. And look at that. ODDIK once again and again in these mid-round situations.
I'm going to be honest. I don't even think that they were really having a game plan there. Those kills were given gift wrapped to Punk there. And I mean, it's still hard to convert on that second frag, but individually showing up when it matters in that man disadvantage scenario, and they completely pants the Sharks. Eco situation, but max loss means there's still guns and danger afoot, but ODDIK will be grinning from ear to ear because they got away with that. Just an incredible case of murder.
And that's the thing. It feels like ODDIK just, they get these situations in their favor like that, which is just madness, right? But Doc's been a little bit quiet, but he finally gets himself a nice little bit of a dig shot. Oh, Woody, I thought he was maybe going to go for the pre-spam. I thought he was just going to just X-ray through the smoke, but no. Now it's going to be Nix and Gofolo here. A little bit of a crossfire. Smoke's still going to be a bit of an issue. But is Woody going to go for the peak? No, he's just going to post back. This is good because now, again, they're just going to try to clear things off. They're going to say, okay, nobody's here. Woody might be able to be the element of surprise on this, but look at his teammates have already now pushed through ramp. They're already going to go for the backstab. Do these CTs expect it? Punk once again be able to have a good spray control into this, but now Gofolo needs to be able to find an opener with this Khalil.
Oh, no!
It might be a little too late. They run past each other. Oh, dear goodness. Okay, Gofolo's going to go down. This might just have to be save territory once again here for the CTs. Unless these guys go into this inner site and they can find an opening some way, somehow. But look at them once again here, Paladin. They're just waiting. They're just biding their time. They know exactly what they're doing. They're in full control of the situation.
They're going to split into this A bomb site. Woody has been sitting alone with the bomb for so long, and they've never been able to single him out. And now with 20 seconds, RDN has rotated downstairs, leaving Koala on an island. He's done so many heroics on so many limited weaponry, and he found his man. He found one and not the second. Nearly has Matios, but ODDIK again in the late round, just string it all together. They are reading this map so well right now. And no matter what kind of disadvantage they have, they find a way to find some chemistry and spark a fire back into place.
Well, I mean, look, we talked about, you know, the kid you play to watch, right? I mean, he's sitting at 12-2 right now. Like, he's been able to find himself multi-kill after multi-kill. I didn't know who it was going to be. I thought maybe Nalte was going to keep himself going. I mean, maybe Seri Terra, somebody like that, right? Just given the performance we saw on Train. But, nah, the new addition wants to be able to prove his worth as well. Doing so much lifting on this one. And now Hut Control trying to be grabbed up here from the Sharks. Gofolo's going to be able to find the double kill here. A little bit of a smoke criminal now. Gets himself out of this situation. Escaping like a ninja in the night. Now putting them on a 5-on-3 advantage. With 50 damage inflicted against Gofolo, or down to 48 damage inflicted against him now. Bomb still in control of the T's here. Paladin, I mean, this is still where, again, ODDIK, you can never count them out in these kind of situations.
This is a much harder situation, though. They've lost that opening aggression, and they've got the guys of this smoke to potentially get downstairs. That is the way back in, but they've just missed the vent, and now they're going to contact their way out. Doc is looking the wrong way. He's completely given up the angle, and it should bait in RDN. Punk does fall, but now RDN, he's really stuck between a rock and a hard place. He's got to battle his way out. The molly is good, sets himself up for success, and Woody will find his man. Slow down in the round now again with 35 seconds left on the clock, but again, they've got to find their way downstairs somehow. I don't know how that's going to be, and maybe they'll never even get there because Seri Terra has fallen. And it's all onto the captain now. Any damage is good damage here at this point, but he's just holding on to his weapon. He's prioritizing that gun. And the Sharks will find themselves their second. That all comes off the back of finding an answer to the door rush. I mean, Naite has been able to get out so many times from that position, but Gofolo throws a secondary smoke and plays in between both of them, and that completely catches ODDIK off guard. So, moving forward, they're going to have to find a little bit of an adaptation. Maybe nade open the smoke or something of the sort, but they're not going to be able to get through doors that easily anymore.
Yeah, it's a really good point you bring up. The fact that Sharks have been able to, again, they had that extra little bit of time where they really could just kind of figure out how do we solve this problem where they just keep rushing into the inner sight. Not looking like it's definitely the better pace for them. ODDIK, though, still up by 4. And they are going to actually go for a little bit of a funny buy here with the Tech 9. Serotero is going to be equipped in the Mac 10 here for Woody. Still going to work around these AKs as much as possible. This is still a decent buy from the T side. Now they're trying to get themselves deeper on that ramp control. You're already grabbing radio. Koala is going to be the sole player here on the ramp. So again, he's been playing behind that red box on the other corner. Is he going to be expecting a bit of a commitment on this? Flashes galore. Everybody's pop flashing. He's going to get blind, but he's going to be able to get out of this. So he does get himself in a better position. Nyx, though, on the back skirts of hell. Can't seem to find it. Ponk gets annihilated here with that AK. And Koala now getting fed. Maybe no, he's not going to be able to get it. Matthews now being able to find himself another one. Getting into this lower site, that bomb is there, but they still have to worry about the threat of RDN, and he's going to get it done through control. Now it's down to the 2-on-4. Gafolo going to get just eradicated, and now again from Serutera! How does he find 3 kills just like that and leaving it into a round where ODDIK once again steals something that shouldn't have been theirs, leaving it to Nyx all on his lonesome for a clutch situation, misses the shot, it's a whipperino, and ODDIK find a 7.
Serutera, man, I was going to praise his craftiness to find a kill there in all of that chaos, but then the spamming of the door into a transfer headshot is unreal. And then to cap it off with the 3rd kill after swinging open to the door himself. I mean, you talk about impact. That's impact right there in spades. Woody understands how riled up his team must be at that point, winning a 2v4 on that lower bomb site. And they call attack timeout to smooth things over because, boy, oh boy, would that one just stir up the forces.
Oh, man. Sharks are just going to be kicking themselves for that, too. Like you said, a 4-on-2. They are in the biggest advantage. But, man, Serutera just running around and just causing havoc. Man, he was doing good work on train. Like, he definitely was able to find himself some decent kills and, some good rounds. But, man, oh, man, Nuke is a whole other ball game right now. So, for Sharks, I mean, no op's going to be available. I mean, Gafolo's just going to go with the MP9 full utility. They're not even committing to a kit. It looks like they're just going to go armor, so they're really just hoping, praising that no bomb's going to go down here. But ODDIK, once again, we've seen this position before. We've seen a 7-2, right? So, I mean, this is where we see, can they find themselves more of a lead on this T side? This time looking like a little bit more Nate, putting themselves into yard. This is where we used to see him pushing into that squeaky, if not hut. So they've done some repositioning.
Yeah, it's fine. At this point, they realize, okay, if we can't get outdoor anymore, then let's just play a little slower. And Nate can still be a force outside. We'll see what he does. Gets through a little bit of utility, but has been dealt with. So RDN does deal with that, and that does slow down this attack from ODDIK, but they've lost ramp. Serutera has found a trade, but still in a man disadvantage. They're hoping that this extra rotation means that this upper bomb site is undermanned, and it absolutely is. Punk finds one, Woody with another, and it's all about trying to get Serutera back onto this bomb site to help out his teammate. Especially considering that C4 is on the ground, but it's been recovered now. RDN has been spotted, but they don't know that Doc has baited up before that. So Serutera will climb up the ladder, still will be that snake in the grass, and it's up to Woody for him to sell up the bait.
Doc goes for a good kill, so now Serutera, a little bit of a pop flash. Oh, it's a little bit weird. It does land, though. They actually just fake defuse it. Oh, no, I think he's realizing he's not going to have a lot of time. That smoke, they're still not even committing to this defuse. Now they're finally going to go for it. Serutera, is he even going to try it? No, he looks like he's just going to retreat this. He realizes, look, the smoke is just going to be the demise for me, so he'll allow that defuse to come through, but I was kind of getting a little bit nervous, I'm not going to lie. Like, Sharks were just taking a lot of time, and this is where I was said in the very beginning. I said, this is a team that's notorious for overthinking, but thankfully they react well to a chaotic situation.
Yeah, I think Serutera might have made a sound cue there, but playing off of Woody's contact is most important. He is the only player that is not known in that situation. Jumps the gun just a little bit of a heat check, but it's all right at the end of the day. still a commanding lead from ODDIK, especially on that offensive side. And with that, still an opportunity to crack through this money. Notch maybe 9 rounds, but still a lot of work to do. Lacking utility. Smoke double flash at a minute 30 is a real question mark, and Doc can't believe his eyes. A player right in front of him, and it looks like we might have had a server disconnect there once again, but
no,
we will update you as soon as we can, folks.
Oh, now the suspense. We have no idea. We have no idea what's going to happen here. Well, honestly, again, Paladin, I do love that we're seeing so much variety from ODDIK. Again, I think, we talked a lot about this, but we have to bring it back up. Is the fact that Woody his calling has just been superb, right? I mean, it really does look like a totally different class of, IGLing versus like what the Sharks are bringing to the table.
Yeah, I think the variety, as you mentioned, is just so solid, right? They're very easily able to scale through outside if they want to. They have these great mid rounds where they're splitting back into the A bomb site. Their freezes are nice because I think a lot of teams, they like the concept of a freeze, but they don't necessarily know why they're doing it. They'll freeze and then they'll go back and do the same thing that they did before the freeze, and it completely misreads the situation. So I think Woody has a great understanding of what can happen following a call like that, and he's done very good to work around that style of calling, and the Sharks are falling right into those traps. So great work from Woody in that sense, especially in these late round situations that we'll continue to praise as this game goes on, because in South America, it's not a crazy thing to say, but there are a lacking amount of IGLs. I mean, you're seeing a lot of players now mantle up to that kind of captaincy on their own. You talk about Lux on Legacy. You talk about Coldzera now having to do it on Red Canids. There are a lot of different options. Vinny having forced to do it on Imperial. So there's a lot of IGLs that are still learning how to play within that role. And Gafolo is one of them, but Woody is not. And we've got to praise that in this kind of circumstance, in this region, of the good work that he's doing and how he's working with the pieces that he has. Because this is a South American team that is not high in the pecking order, right? I mean, you've got so many more teams that are at the top end that can have their pick of the litter of the Brazilian talent that are out there. You think of Furia, you think of Imperial, Red Canids, Fluxo. I can keep going on and on. But a team like ODDIK, they've got to go digging. They've got to go into the diamonds in the rough, and they've got to find players to buck the trend and maybe find a way to make a run with lesser pieces. And so far, he's done a fairly decent job. Of course, I think the jury's still out on Punk, but you can see the work that Sarah Terra does individually, and you got to commend Woody on that aspect as well.
Yeah, and that's no doubt about it. I mean, that's the thing, like you said, like I think we're seeing a very different age of CS2 where like a lot of teams have that new IGLs. Like you said, you know, the list can go on forever, but that's kind of what makes it exciting too. And that's the other thing. I try not to harp too much on the Sharks team just because, you know, that they are kind of going through a scenario of like different IGLing and responsibilities are changing. So it does take time to get those things in motion. However, it's just, you know, when we kind of look at like, you know, records and like the history of what they've been able to do, it's hard not to get, you know, a little bit critical about that, just considering, you know, this is a team that was 8-0, like they actually were undefeated until earlier on today. But I mean, this is where a lot of teams are still going through the grinding point right now, figuring out what they need to do differently. What is their style of leading? How do they, you know, function as a team in the advancements of CS, and how much has changed over the course of time? But it still makes it super exciting. And even right now, you know, like you said, Woody's been calling a phenomenal game. He's putting himself at a 7-4 right now on T-side Nuke. And it feels like, you know, for a team that has a lot of rebuilding that's happened very quickly, these guys have been able to get the pieces, you know, in the right place and getting things in good motion. But still waiting to hear about the technical issue, folks. We do apologize. We're just kind of waiting to hear a little bit more about what's specifically going on. But it does look like we're ready to go back into it. Thank goodness.
Nice. Let's get right back into it. Last round of the half here between ODDIK and Sharks. And see what ODDIK can do with this lesser purchase. They've got no utility. One singular grenade. And with this space, they're just gonna try to scale through outside. Maybe Nightte can find one, but he'll go down. Doc slowly ramping up in this game. Bit silent on both of these maps, but better late than never. They do already have a player downstairs, mind you. Marius is already here. It's all about joining hands with him and finding a little more impact, but there are no rotations downstairs here, Laz. And that is a gaping hole in this Sharks defense.
Oh boy. Ay, this is not good, Paladin. And look at now, even Doc's going to try to reinvestigate on this, but he's the only one. He's the only one here, and he does get this kill. Plant's going to come through. Oh god, what? They leave it fully exposed, and Doc gets away with double. That's something that shouldn't have happened at all, but Terra, okay, yeah, alright. A little one-tap, why not? Keep feeding the beast here. Now down to the 3-on-2. The T's need to find something. A Tech 9 now needed to bring this into motion. It's not going to happen. At least the Sharks can get themselves a little bit of dignity with a 5th round. It is going to be ending this half with a 7-5 scoreline. We're getting ready to take that short little break to close things off for this best of one. All right, welcome back. That short break is now done, and we're ready to go for the second half here for the remaining best of one here with ODDIK taking on the Sharks. And again, a similar scoreline that we've seen here before, and ODDIK putting themselves in prime position right now to maybe finding a double victory here tonight. But again, it's the CT side to see if it will be strong and true.
Aggression out from RDN. And he's immediately been punished by Matios Naite from the lockers. This has been a demolition from ODDIK, and these pistols have been just so firmly in the favor of ODDIK. Koala now wondering what the hell happened to his teammates outside. 1v5. And look, I think this guy's a very good player, but this one might be a bridge too far.
No faith, eh? No faith at all.
Do you have
He can do it.
Do you have it?
No. Let's be real. I love to be proven wrong, though. Look, always love a good underdog story. Doesn't even have the bomb. Like, this couldn't be worse. He's got 3 guys just looking right at him out of mini. Unless he hits the most insane, 6 shots in the world. Maybe. Okay. Oh, God. Okay, wait, hang on. Okay, never mind. Okay, things are fine. Terra, get it done.
Yeah, there was always that heaven prong to deal with. The bomb down outside, and ODDIK just do so much great work. Matios and Naite conjoining for 4 kills, 2 each. And now you got a question to be answered for the Sharks. Do you force? And the answer is a resounding yes. But with no bomb plant, it does feel a bit meager. Don't necessarily know how they're going to get this done. Maybe a late ramp pop after the utility has been used, but it's going to be a tough ask here, lads. Let's see if they can get it up.
Ooh, that smoke's going to be good. Perfectly timed. They're going to run through it, though. They're not going to care at all. They're not worried about it. Monk's going to be able to find the opener, but no, ooh, he's trying to get out of this. Oh, man, he's getting just caught here. A little bit on the heels now, but the MP9, once again, maybe to be true. And yes, indeed, he'll be able to find that double. Now, trades back and forth. Mully to just kind of kick back these CTs. Koala just trying to redo a clutch scenario here. An M4 on the corner that I don't think he was able to spot. He might not have enough time for it. He might not be able to get this despite being with 20 HP. And he's got 2 different players, 200 HP that he has to be able to find. Shadow advantage is going to pan out nicely for him. So now things have really just a little bit more of a ruse. But at least for ODDIK, they're going to get this round down. But man, was that a grinder?
Yeah, it is. And it does open the door to the Sharks if they want to force again. But with how this game is continuing to get further and further out of reach, maybe giving double digits and bending the knee is the better option. But great work there again from Terra and Punk to get some solid kills and really slow down that offense, because they got a lot of space to get downstairs, and they even caught out Punk for a majority of that play. But he stalls long enough, and the rotations are in. Matios does some good work as well. And now the Sharks have to just kind of sit around and twiddle their thumbs, hope something is offered to them, and it definitely is. Woody pushes up through the T roof, and he still gets a kill. Doesn't get punished. And with that, he'll stick around for maybe, I'd argue, a little too much.
Yeah, now this is just desperate. And it will be a good flawless round here from ODDIK. So getting themselves in double-digit territory. So here we go. Round number 16 will be a little bit of destiny here to see if Sharks can be able to bring things back. But this is what we kind of saw before, right? I mean, we've seen in past where these guys do like to play a lot more slower CS. I don't feel like we always see that fast pace. They do have a really good spawn, though. So if they wanted to, if they have a good inner pop, they can definitely go for it here right now. They ain't doing it. Outside it is.
It's not a bad idea, Laz, but unfortunately, I think there's just hyper fear in the hearts of Sharks that if they do mess up that up inner hit, the game's over. And with that, they do go for a little bit more of a slower approach. Koala gets one in the inner portion of the map, but they've still got to deal with his presence from Naite, and he gets cleared out. Doc very wary of that aggressive rifler's tricks. This boa constrictor of a round from the Sharks is really putting a bottleneck on ODDIK. 11 won't be found this early, but they'll still have their hand at it. 3v5, 2 players downstairs, and that's the main issue, Laz. Nobody to deal with and upper aggress if it does come through, but they are rerouting back to ramp. This could be absolutely disastrous.
Oh, no. And if Woody can be able to find himself a double kill here, even more of a problem. But he's expecting somebody to go for actually a bit of a flank onto Heaven. So now he's actually able to get himself the one. He can't seem to get that second, but a good trade back on the other side here. Onto the lower hallway. But now Shark's getting a bit of an inkling going, you know what? I think they are in lower. We're not going to go for this. But they only got 20 seconds. Again, they got to run the clock here. They got to realize that time is ticking here. And they have a free sight. Now they're going to get the nades through. Now they're finally dropping in. And there is a kit available here for the CT side. So, I mean, they could try to attempt this. They got the double mollies, a smoke as well, a nice shot as well.
They're going now.
Yeah, they got to go now. There's no doubt they're going to not commit to this. They have to. Monk's going to be able to throw this wall flash if he wants to. This could be huge. If this lands, he might be able to find himself that double kill. Waiting for it. There it is. There's the one. And not the second, but the trade maybe to come back through. But no, it's going to be the IGL. The mastermind finds himself a given double kill.
He does a great job, Gaffolo, sometimes to just individually dig his team out of some tough spots. And right there, 1v2 has to stand and deliver. Cannot shirk away from the spotlight. And he steps up to the plate and then some. Knocks it out of the park. ODDIK take attack timeout. They understand the gravitas, the knockout punch that was available for them. You got to commend the ability to pull that round back as much as they did. And now it's just, I mean, they've still got the foot on the throat of the Sharks still. You look at the economy, you look at the guns that they've got out on the board. This is still in touching distance for ODDIK. And they're going to take this timeout to really understand how they can close this game out.
Yeah, we'll see Woody with the op here too, so be curious where he wants to place himself. What do Sharks want to go for? Again, a really good spawn point. Still down by 4. Smoke wall going to get thrown for outside, so they go back for that yard control. Some good aggression here from Plunk, though. Looking like he was going to try to actually go for a bit of a swing, but he gets himself into secret stairs. They're going to try to redo this. Nate was there before. Wasn't able to find any sort of luck, but maybe second time will be the charm. Sharks just once again waiting things out again. They're not going to do too much. They're not going to advance themselves too much. They're just going to run the clock a little bit. See if these CTs get antsy, but oh man, that is beautiful.
Nice spam damage there from Matios. Great understanding of how that could have been played. And now, things get a little bit more difficult for the Sharks. They want to split into main, but Naite spotted a little bit of a shoulder. Great kill to find, and he spotted another one. Koala should be dead to rights, but oh my goodness, back turn. Gaffolo completely catches Matios off guard. But Seratera and Ponk are here to pick up the pieces. Into the 2v1 goes Koala, and he can't come out the better. Woody there to close it out. ODDIK find themselves 11. And as I mentioned before, foot on the neck, and now constricting them even further.
Yeah, second time out going to be used here for Sharks. And again, I mean, for them, like they're kind of in this position too where you're at 11-6. I mean, the money is not the greatest, right? So you could just go for the light buy, put it all on the line, push to OT, or you force the purchase and try to get the win, right? I mean, these are not fun conversations to have because you're kind of a bit of a, pulling straws here. You're just like, I don't know, what is the better play to go for? And I mean, given just what we've seen, I mean, they're getting that outside control pretty decently with their executions, but are they going to be able to capitalize anything more? Does look like RDN's going to go... No, he's going to refund everything. I was thinking he was going to commit to this purchase, but yeah, this might just be a save and just going to send it all in for round number 19.
It's a real risk, Laz, but We'll see what they can do. That inner pop, as you mentioned before, could be a viable strategy with the SMGs, but they're still a little bit apprehensive. Now, finally taking lobby. They're throwing outside utility. Maybe they can repump into this inner hit. Nate is good in breaking open the smoke, but nothing is found. So, ideally, if Doc can clip one away, this inner hit could be much more potent, but this smoke is very well timed, and he finds one Naite in Gofolo. They should understand what's coming, especially considering these players were ahead. They're going to go downstairs, though, and Woody's there to cut off rotations. Matios as well. This is well put together from ODDIK. They've cut off every bit of avenues for the Sharks to dig themselves back into this one. They're running out of time, they're running out of rounds, and they're running out of money. This should be the beginning of the end for the Sharks, whether they like it or not.
Yeah, a lot rides on Doc here if he's going to be able to find the skill. Oh, no, he brings a knife out. Oh, no reason at all. But okay. Map point's going to be here for, map and series point going to be here for ODDIK, now sitting at the 12-6. Everything, all the marbles here for Sharks needing a Hail Mary run. 6 rounds in a row to push an overtime scenario. And even look at what they got to work with here. I mean, again, a mixture of MAC-10s with Galils. Oh boy, not what you need here if you're a Sharks fan. But what do we see different, right? I mean, we see them try to go for the ramp control. It's been semi-successful. We see them just go for this yard control, which I feel like has been good with the smoke walls. But what do they do differently? Nate, though. Oh man, Nate's trying to just be cheeky. Can't be able to find it, though. He's the one that takes all the damage. And he's actually going to pull back on this now, realizing he just shouldn't be fighting on this. And now keeping Sharks in more of a guessing game here, Paladin.
I'm surprised he gets out alive, but a little bit of potency still in the round for the Sharks, but their smokes are fading, and their time even more so. Flash, oh sorry, smoke, good. A little bit of a gap here, but that flash should enable the cross safely. Serratera does find one on that cross, and they should be aware of what's coming. Matios is definitely considering it. Bounds back up, nades open the door, waiting for a T to give him that duel that he's looking for. But he's calling the rotation over, and now that door being naded open looks very dangerous, considering Naite's got this line as well. I mean, the Sharks are so confused right now. They know that the ODDIK have these players rotated downstairs, and they have to go up. They do find Woody eventually going 1-for-1, and they will get a bomb plant. But this nade should do a little bit. There's only 10 damage, but with that kill on the Knicks, this should be a done deal if they play their cards right.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, the numbers are just at the biggest disadvantage here for the Sharks. And there we go from the heavens, and it will again get done. Serratera, who other than him, putting himself at a 17-9. Honk actually sitting himself at an 18-9, so a lot of these guys are really having themselves a field day with this, but a 13-6 will be the determination of this, and ODDIK are going to be able to find themselves a 2-0 tonight with the 2 separate best-of-1s, and Sharks still have a lot more homework ahead of them to get themselves back in winning form, but again, we were talking about them being an 8-0, you know, sitting on a little bit of an undefeated streak, and now finally they get defeated.
And it's going to be a very cruel awakening for them. A splash of cold water in the face, because they did not look involved in this game from start to finish. Yes, there were lapses from ODDIK in terms of individual firepower, but from the calling department, it seemed that Gofolo was always going to be outclassed, and that to me showcases the strength of ODDIK if they do have their individuals flowing, because on a strategy perspective, they're definitely in a higher class, and that to me is very impressive. I'm excited to keep watching this ODDIK team take shape. Excited to see how Ponk plays into this new system, because yes, he was slow on train, didn't have much action on Ivy, but on ramp would get you 1 or 2 kills, finds a lot of ways to stall out and rival that of Koala on the other end, and that to me makes for an exciting prospect, and I'm very curious to see how it works for him if he plays under a player like Woody.
Yeah, and I feel like, we again just doing the Kitty play to watch for Plunk, like he had himself a lot better of a game here. Where on train it was a little bit lackluster. He wasn't really in positions to have himself, any sort of good ADR or anything like that. But really, he still played his role. He still did what he needed to do. But like you said, I think very exciting to see what ODDIK is going to be able to bring for this in the South American region. Just because despite them going through some roster shuffles and some changes, things are looking so far so good. But right now, we are going to take a bit of a break. That's going to be it here for South America. But in just an hour's time, we will be ready to go back for some NA action. So, grab whatever you need because you know what? It's NA, so you never know what you're going to be expecting because this matchup will definitely be a banger. We'll see you in a little bit.